सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादम् शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्. Humble prostrations to everyone present here. So our topic today is pranayama and spiritual sadhana. So since we have all studied Tattvabodha, so here we find Annamaya Kosha first, then comes Pranamaya Kosha, and then comes Manomaya Kosha. So when we see this Pranamaya Kosha comes in between Annamaya Kosha and Manomaya Kosha. So therefore, when we improve this Pranamaya Kosha with pranayama, we find that there is improvement both in Annamaya Kosha and also in Manomaya Kosha. To put it simply, when we do pranayama, Annamaya Kosha is benefited, meaning our physical health is benefited. When we do pranayama, our Manomaya Kosha is also benefited, meaning our mind is also influenced by pranayama. So first we will see how pranayama improves our physical health. So when we say prana, the pancha prana, what are the pancha pranas? Prana, apana, vyana, udana and samana. So this prana is called respiratory system. Apana is called excretion system. Vyana is called circulatory system. Udana is called reverse system and samana is called digestive system. All these functions, the physiological functions happen because of the power of prana. So now, when we eat food, what happens? The food goes to the stomach. In stomach, digestion happens. So what is digestion? The conversion of food into energy. That is what is digestion. And this aspect is taken care by samana vayu in the stomach. Jatharagni, Vaishwanara it is called. That fire, that digestive fire, that is that which converts the food into energy. So digestive system digests the food, meaning converts food into energy. Now once the energy is formed, it has to be circulated throughout the body. So this aspect is taken care by Vyana Vayu. Vyana means circulatory system. So this energy is circulated throughout the body through Vyana Vayu. Now, in this process, the blood becomes impure. So the blood has to be purified. So then this respiratory system, which is called as Pranavayu, takes care of it. So what does it do? It takes in oxygen, throws away carbon dioxide, and thus the blood is purified. So this is taken care by Pranavayu. Now, in the process of digestion, there are waste material. It has to be thrown out from the physical body. So then that is taken care by Apana Vayu, excretion system. Now there is one more Vayu which is used only during emergencies. It is not always used, but only during emergency it is used. And what is that? It is called as Udana Vayu. For example, you have eaten something, that food doesn't match well with the system. It has to be thrown out vomited out. So that vomiting, it is something reverse process. Normal process is going from up to down, but here from down to up it has to go. So it's a reverse system. So then Udana Vayu becomes active in vomiting, etc. Sometimes when the dust enters into the eyes have to be flushed out with tears. That is also taken care by Udana Vayu. So a particular system, emergency system, which is ever there to keep the body healthy, protected. So that is the job of Udana Vayu. Also, one more function they say is at the time of death, the Sukshma Sharira has to leave the body, the subtle body has to leave the physical body. So that ejection happens by the power of Udana Vayu. So, in short, all the physiological functions that are happening in the body, it is all because of Pancha Pranas. So, therefore, when can we say that a person is healthy at the physical level? When these Pancha Pranas are really strong, very powerful, then we say that person is healthy. Health has nothing to do with the bulging of biceps and triceps. Health has nothing to do with your six packs in the stomach. Health has only to do with one thing: how strong is your pranavayu? Hmm? That, what you call, that radiance in the face, that power in the hands and legs and the body, and that general energy which a person radiates at the physical body, it is all because of prana shakti. And now this prana, it knows everything. It is literally omniscient. It knows how to keep the body fit. The only thing it wants is it needs power, it needs strength. For example, if the blood has to flow and there is a clot in that nervous system or that blood vessel or whatever, the pranavayu knows how to clear it if there is some fat. So if a person is regularly doing pranayama, so then this prana, it will clear the system. It knows what to do. So all those things, what you call this bypass surgery and this and that heart surgery, nothing is needed. The prana knows what to do. But we have to strengthen the prana for it to do its job. So what we do with pranayama is we are just empowering prana. We are just making the prana powerful so that it can do its job. It is something like, a vehicle, if it has to go over a hill, engine knows what to do. But then it needs a power. The engine needs a power to take the vehicle up the hill. In the same way, the prana knows what to do because it knows everything, how to keep the body alive. Only thing what is necessary is it must be energized. Through pranayama, what we do is we make the pancha pranas very strong. And once they become strong, then that person becomes really healthy. Through pranayama alone, there are people who have lived for 200, 300, 350, 400 years, etc. In YouTube, I think it is some Pavahara Baba or Devahara Baba, somebody. He lived for around 350 years only through pranayama. Right. So at the physical level, pranayama can give us good health. Now, this is regarding Annamaya Kosha. Now, how does this prana affects the Manomaya Kosha, mind? What is the connection between prana and the mind? So in Upadesha Saram, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi speaks about it. Vayurodhanat liyate manah jalapakshivat rodha sadhanam. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says, Vayurodhanat manah liyate. So when we control our breath, when we restrain our breath, when we breathe in a very slow, steady, rhythmic manner, when we try to restrain our breath, there is a direct relationship we find between the breath and the state of mind. So what is said is, manaha liyate, the mind becomes more and more silent. The mind becomes more and more quiet. So as your breathing becomes slow and steady and deep, the mind also becomes very, 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 very quiet. And you will always find that when the mind is disturbed, the prana also is disturbed. Our breathing rhythm, everything becomes, hafasar, disturbed. So that means there is a relationship. So Ramana Maharshi says this is an excellent way in excellent technique which can be used in spiritual sadhana, because controlling the prana, the breathing, is very easy, whereas controlling the mind is very difficult. So therefore, this is a wonderful technique where by holding on to the gross, by controlling the gross, you are able to control something subtle in you. By controlling the sthula, you are controlling the sukshma in you. And what is the example given? So here, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi gives the example of Jala Pakshivat, like a bird caught up in the net. Bird by itself, it's a very fickle being, very restless being. But when that bird is caught up in the net, what happens to that bird? It becomes helplessly quiet. So, in the same way, when a person is able to do pranayama, and it is very easy to do, when you are regulating your breath, which is comparatively very easy, the mind also becomes quiet, silent, like that helpless bird inside the net. Now, this example is beautiful because what Bhagavan is trying to say is the moment you remove the net, the bird again flies off. So, as long as you are doing pranayama, so long the mind is quiet. So, this is not a permanent solution to quieten the mind, it is a temporary solution, but this temporary solution can be of very, effectively made use in spiritual sadhana. Now, a question may come, what is the relationship between prana and mind? Hmm. So, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says, Chittavayavaha chitkriyayutaha shakhayordvai shakti mulaka. Come for this power of Maya Shakti. The Maya Shakti has two branches. What are the two branches? One is prana, the other is the mind. Chittavayavaha. These are the two branches of this power called Maya Shakti. They are the two branches of this tree. So, this Maya Shakti has got three Shaktis: Jnana Shakti, Ichha Shakti, and Kriya Shakti. So, Jnana Shakti and Ichha Shakti, it belongs to the mind, power of the mind. And Kriya Shakti, it belongs to the power of prana. They are associated with prana. So, therefore, Bhagwan, if you see in olden days, etc., when we have to pluck a mango and that mango is quite far. So, what do? Whatever branch is nearer to us, we catch hold of it and pull it down, and then the other branch also comes down. So, in the same way, you hold on to the prana and the mind comes under your control. There is a deep relationship between them. So, in the beginning, it is a very useful technique. Many times, what happens is mind becomes so dull. You are not able to do your mananam, shravanam, mananam, etc., nididhyasanam, etc. Mind is very dull, very tamasic. It is not cooperating. Sometimes it is wandering also. At that time, when you are absolutely helpless with regard to thoughts, this technique becomes very, very useful. And that is why Bhagwan Shankaracharya says in his verse, what does he say? Pranayamam pratyaharam nitya viveka vicharam japya sameta samadhi vidhanam kurvavadhanam mahadavadhanam bhaja govindam govindam bhaja mudhamate. So what is the first step Bhagavan Shankaracharya says? Pranayamam pratyaharam. The first is pranayam. Start with pranayam. So what I'm trying to say is, the first one is pranayama. Start with the grosser techniques and then go towards the subtler techniques. The first is pranayama. It is something which every one of us can do. It is something which is very easy to do also. So as you are doing this pranayamam pratyaharam, just pay attention to your breathing. Let the breathing be slow and steady, and slowly bring all your attention to your breathing. And this is something very easy because you are paying attention to something gross. Paying attention to something subtle is always difficult. Paying attention to something gross is very easy. That's why these vipassana people and all, they ask you to pay attention to the breath, the ingoing, outgoing breath. Pranayamam pratyaharam. So this is called as pratyahara. So as you are paying attention to your breath, You have already withdrawn the mind from the world to the present moment in this ingoing and outgoing breath. So, to a great extent, withdrawal has happened. Mind has withdrawn. Mm. It's a great step from the world to the body. The withdrawal has happened. Pranayamam pratyaharam. Then what you have to do? By then, mind has become single pointed. Mind has become quiet. Mind has become subtle. Now, mind is in a position to meditate upon the higher, do subtler thinking. So then what you have to do? Pranayamam pratyaharam. The next one is nitya anitya viveka vicharam. Now the mind should be busy in doing Vedanta Chintanam. What is Vedanta Chintanam? Nitya anitya. What is that which is permanent? What is that which is impermanent? So the consciousness in me is a permanent one. The sakshi in me, the witness in me, the self in me. So slowly you have to shift your attention from the non-self to the self. Mind has become subtle enough, pure enough. So nitya anitya viveka vichara. So bring in all the Vedantic thoughts. There are two entities in this world, the self and the non-self, the real and the non-real, the druk and the drishya, the seer and the seen. So now we have what you have to do, bringing in the spiritual thoughts, shift your attention of the mind from the seen to the seer. And for that, Japya Sameta Samadhi Vidhanam. You can use Japa. Japa is a pointer. The name of the Lord is a pointer in shifting our attention from the seen to the unseen. Japya Sameta Samadhi Vidhanam. And then, after fixing the attention upon the self, let the mind abide in the self. Let the mind get absorbed in the self. Kuru avadhanam mahadavadhanam. Now, this is the whole of meditation. So, in this, what is the first step? Pranayama is the first step. So, those who do pranayama, they can very clearly make a difference. Within 10-15 minutes, the quality of the mind changes so much. Those who regularly do pranayama, they know it. In the beginning, you may not see much difference, but slowly, as you are constantly doing pranayama, you are able to retain your breath for a long time. You are able, that what you call that the span, that one full cycle, slowly it increases with practice. Your lungs capacity starts increasing. And with that increase of capacity, you are able to hold the breath for long. And with this capacity increasing, that mind also tremendously gets affected by this what you call practice of pranayama. And quieter the mind, the more efficient the mind is. Quieter the mind, more subtle the mind is. And subtler the mind, more easier it is able to do all higher sadhanas. So in this way, pranayama is extremely useful. So may we all make use of this wonderful technique given by our great saints and sages, and may we proceed in our sadhana successfully. Hari Om. Thank you.